On this hunt, I'm in southwest Wisconsin for a late season mixed bag. This is Midwest hunting at its finest.
Today is going to be the perfect rabbit day.
Not only are we gunning for cottontail rabbits, but we got some big plans for deer and squirrel as well. There is guaranteed to be plenty of meat for the pot as we hunt up a true heartland feast. I'm Steven Ranella. To me, hunting isn't only about the pursuit of an animal. It's about who we are and what we're made of. It's about sustenance, survival. It's about connecting to the land. It's about the purity of the challenge. It's about life. In each and every one of us, there is a primal instinct to hunt and consume. I live to hunt and hunt to live. I am a meat eater.
Right now I'm on my friend Doug Duren's farm in the driftless area of Wisconsin. What driftless means is when the glacial epochs were coming through the Midwest and absolutely leveling the place. For whatever reason, the ice sheets always skirted around this area and left this beautiful rolling farm country you see now. Nowadays we know this place for three things: Packers fans, cheese curds, and big whitetail deer.
The state of Wisconsin has extended the private land whitetail season well into the month of February as a conservation measure, which means that deer season has lined up perfectly with prime time winter rabbit hunting. All of these good times are going to happen on this man's land, Douglas Duren. He's a very careful and conscientious land manager. This farm has been in his family for generations, about 110 years, and he's invited me out to share in the bounty of the land.
So we can do deer and then also do some small game and turn this into a sort of Midwestern deer and small game blowout.
Doug's awfully generous when it comes to land access on his farm, but no one steps foot on the place without getting a debriefing from him on what this place is all about.
You have a beautiful farm full of like great, gorgeous deer. You're growing big bucks because you're doing a lot of things right. You have a plan that works for deer out here.
I'm trying to manage this farm for crops. I'm trying to manage that woodland to regenerate red and white oak. I'm trying to have a balance ecosystem here. I'm not just trying to grow deer.
Around the year 2000, Doug and his neighbors began implementing a deer management plan meant to foster more natural population dynamics among the area's whitetail herd. This meant a more equal ratio of bucks to does and more bucks reaching prime maturity.
You know, we've got plenty of deer. So let's start to control the herd and start let the smaller bucks go and get bigger ones.
This area is so famous for producing all these big mature deer. It's more than just you, obviously.
Oh yeah.
People in the area are just getting on board.
Everybody is sort of practicing management their own way on their land, and from the buck management standpoint, people are letting little bucks go.
As an added incentive to adhere to Doug's management plan, anyone who shoots a buck that's too small is made to wear this sombrero around the house as punishment for the remainder of his or her stay.
The sombrero signifies a mistake.
And you've worn it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is the sombrero does not discriminate. You know? Everybody can make a mistake, and that's kind of the point. It's that the attitude is if, you know, if we're paying attention and we're trying to do that, and if you make a mistake, you wear the sombrero, and next year, everything's fine again, you know.
You think about what's the best course of actions here.
I want you to scrutinize deer while you're here and go, okay, well, is that one to take? Is that a young deer? What's the perfect deer to take? You get to make that decision yourself, you know?
Now let me ask this, when it comes to the cottontail rabbits, any rabbit, right?
That's right.
There's no management, there's no rabbit management.
No rabbit management.
Like, you shot my stud cottontail.
With a firm understanding of the rules for hunting deer on Doug's land, we call up some local buddies for the first hunt of the trip. Doug and his crew have coined their own term for a unique style of hunting. They call it mooching. It's basically a delicate deer drive with elements of still hunting thrown in. Doug has a good idea that there's going to be deer bedded in and around an upper pine plantation.
Our plan is to send 5 guys in there, and Doug positions me and him on the most likely travel corridors that these deer will be using when they book out. The thing about hunting with a group, especially on someone else's land, is that in some ways you're just along for the ride rather than being the driver. It can be a challenge if you're more used to relying on your own judgment and decision making, but it does teach humility. And if nothing else, you might learn something about hunting that you didn't know before.
The thing that's cool about a guy like Doug is you can just see that he has the deepest love and appreciation for his land and all the things it produces, and also intimate knowledge he has of the ground and land around him. So much of my life now, I've just kind of wandered around, just going to places, you know, for just little spouts of time and sort of glossing over the vast tracts of land, or backpacking into places that I might not ever backpack into again. And you start to miss having that really deep, intimate understanding of just one spot, you know, of home.
Doug and I get settled in. Now it's just a matter of waiting for the other group to make their way through the pines and hopefully get some deer stirred up. Sure enough, after a short wait, Doug's instincts turned out to be dead on.
Here they are. There they are.
I've never been a big fan of running shots, and especially not through brush. One twig can throw a bullet off course and result in a non-lethal hit.
Why couldn't they have slowed down a little bit, man? Here's more. Those are all small bucks. Makes me nervous. I don't want to shoot the wrong buck and get in trouble with Doug and have to wear his sombrero.
Only thing I can do at this point is wait and hope that Doug has better luck than I did.
Oh, hell, there's a whole bunch of them. Every one of them's a buck. There's 4 deer.
Perhaps Doug ultimately loves venison even more than big buck racks, but whatever the reason, he decided to break his own rule in order to put some meat on our plates.
That's a buck.
Like I was saying, he's a generous guy.
Now we got a dead deer. We may have a dead deer over here.
Did you hit it?
It didn't fall over. They went down over the hill. There he is.
Nice.
Sombrero.
Doug, you gotta wear your own sombrero.
I gotta wear my own hat.
Nice. Doug, I'll wear the sombrero for you if I get to eat some. All right, man. Dude, I'll wear that sombrero with pride for you, man.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for the push.
Good shot placement too, man. It's about as well executed as a drive can be.
While this deer might arguably be a sombrero buck, it's certainly an awesome animal that we're all glad to see. It'll provide meat for our meal, with plenty left over to share with friends and family.
One thing I like about hunting with a bunch of guys, it doesn't really matter that much to people who got the deer. I mean, it'll be like at first, Doug got a buck. But down the road, it'll be like, oh, we got one. Because after a couple of days, you just stop thinking about who and you just start thinking about the we of it. Mostly it's like we're hunting together, we're doing a drive, it's a group effort. The group's trying to get a deer and the group got a deer as a team.
Our venison is secure and hanging in the barn, and as the sun comes out, so do the rabbits.
Okay, I'm gonna show the basic, like, schematic of a rabbit push. Let's say you just have an isolated patch of brush. Put a guy here, put a guy here, put a guy here, and then have a pusher come in here and just raise hell. Figuring that the rabbits are gonna come squirting out some direction around out of there. Without dogs, that's how like 90% of rabbits in America get shot, is through this kind of maneuvering.
It's turned into a gorgeous day. The rabbits will be out basking in the sun, and they'll be leaving tracks in the snow. I've got high hopes for this hunt.
Today is gonna be the perfect rabbit day. This place is plastered in rabbit tracks. Oh, you can just smell those rabbits in here, man. Boys are doing a good job up in those briars now, you hear?
Keep pushing, keep stomping.
Son of Get across, get across.
He's crossing, he's crossing. Doug, geez, Doug. Doug, don't stop to start cursing till the rabbit's gone, man. There's plenty of time for cursing later. What do you think, Doug?
Couldn't hit a bull in the ass with a scoop shovel full of shell corn.
They're supposed to be hunting, they're supposed to be sneaking out ahead.
They're in here, baby. There he is. Oh.
He's in between you two guys somewhere.
No, he's back behind you.
There he comes, down the hill, down the hill. Paul, he's coming right at you. Now he's coming back towards Steve. Up the hill.
Coming up towards you.
Coming right down the hill, see him?
You see him? Get him, Doug.
Yes, sir. Redemption!
I'll tell you what, man. There's a direct correlation between the number of scratches on your body and the number of rabbits in your game bag.
This is very much where my hunting roots came from, busting brush in the Midwest, you know, for bunny rabbits. And it's accessible. Like, I still get a big thrill out of it, you know. Sometimes I think, you know, I'd rather be chasing rabbits than chasing some crazy thing up in the mountains, just because it's reminds me so much of, you know, all the hours and hours and days I spent as a kid doing this.
So altogether, we got 8 rabbits. We're definitely not gonna go hungry. Now it's just a matter of getting all hands on deck to skin and quarter these rabbits for eating. We've already got the ingredients for a big feast, but I'd love to add some more small game to the mix. I figure a couple squirrels should do the trick. Wisconsin law states that a landowner can hunt squirrels on his own property regardless of the time of year. So with Doug on the gun, he and I set out to see if we can snag a couple more critters for the bucket.
Half of what I know about finding animals and stalking and shooting all comes from hunting squirrels.
Talking about squirrel hunting with people. They always base their impressions of squirrel hunting on the ones they see eating peanuts out of people's hands at parks.
Yeah.
But it's basically like acting like you know about wolves because your buddy's got a dog. He's coming. Did you see how I coaxed him up for you? Thanks, Steve. Nothing shatters the silence of the woods like a shot fired at a squirrel. Oh. Yeah, I see him. Got him, Doug.
With 2 nice squirrels in hand, it's time to start prepping for tomorrow. After butchering out the back hams, back, and shoulders from the squirrels, I get to work on the marinade. In a 5-gallon bucket, I combine equal parts apple cider vinegar and water. Then I add pickling spice, some salt, and a few chopped onions. Finally, I add in the rabbit and squirrel to sit overnight. This is gonna be a treat. It's early morning and high time to get all the meat out of the marinade. I'm making one of my favorite dishes, a traditional German stew called Hassenpfeffer, which essentially means peppered hare. It's one of the easiest and most surefire ways to cook small game. When it comes to Hassenpfeffer, the trick is to fry everything to a perfect golden brown and then just let it simmer in its own sauce for a few hours.
Now that everything's braised, I just want to take the onions from the marinade, fry these onions down, then I'm just going to add them into the blend there. One way to thicken the braising liquid is to use ginger snap cookies. That's about perfect there. It's like lumpy brown sugar.
Pretty good.
While the rabbit and squirrel meat is braising, Doug and I head out to the barn to skin and quarter our buck. When it comes to consistently good flavor and texture, there's really nothing like a crop-fed whitetail buck. It's the game meat that I grew up on, and I'm always looking forward to a chance to eat some more. I cut a few sirloin steaks off of the back legs for a pre-dinner snack. Doug fires up the grill so we can get those steaks on while we wait for the main course to finish up.
All right, Dougie, I'm putting these steaks on.
With this amount of food, we need a few extra guys to dig in. So Doug puts out the word to his hometown friends around Cazenovia and invites them for dinner. This is one of my favorite parts about hunting with a big group of friends. After all the good times in the field, you get some good times around the table.
That's a saddle of rabbit. Oh, do you want, Bahama now, do you want squirrel too?
I will try squirrel.
That's your squirrel. That's rabbit. That's your business on top. It's not supposed to look appetizing, it's supposed to taste good. Want onions?
Thanks a lot.
The marinated
It's really good.
It's actually really good.
This is my first time I've ever had marinated rabbit. It's really pretty good.
It gets pretty tender. You beat the toughness with that.
My dear wife, she always roasted rabbit with wine.
Mm-hmm.
One bottle of wine and the rabbit, one on her.
Well, Doug, I keep wanting to thank you for everything.
Well, it's been great having you guys here. It's just good, clean fun.
Keep thinking about how I never put that sombrero on.
Yeah, there you go. He promised he'd put it on.
No, I told you I'd wear it for you.
Yeah, that's right.
This might not fit my big old melon though, man.
One size fits all. I think it goes the other way.
Oh, that's it right there. I wanted to wear a cowboy hat style.
That's right. That's right.
It's a fine line between a sombrero and a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
That fits good.
It looks good on you, yeah.
With Doug's fine specimen of a sombrero buck, this trip turned into my idea of a perfect Midwestern hunt. Thanks to Doug and his buddies, we crammed damn near a season's worth of hunting into a few long days, and we still had time to top it off with some fine family dining. Even with all the big game hunts that I've done in crazy remote places, I still get a major charge out of chasing small game and whitetails in the Midwest. After all, mooching deer through alfalfa fields and farmland woodlots is how I learned to hunt in the first place. And anytime I can get a chance to make it back to my roots, I'm in.